Morning, afternoon, all on this cloudy, kind of mixed day today here in Vancouver. Yeah, we're just talking, or I was just talking with a few people. This precipitates us going live, and depending on who comes. I just looking through the news as I usually do, and many people do, looking at what is and is reported. Now, about the free speech, Tommy Robinson, of course, if you've been following that, that's just wrong on every level you can think of. Uh, it going through the CBC and not a word, not a word. And that's actually I got banned. If on my other video, if you look at it, I got banned because I asked. I said, "Well, where's the reporting on it?" But I guess freedom of speech or reporting in general is just really absent. It just I don't know how else to put it. It's like it's not there. I mean, why would you put it there? But mind you, with that, you read all the anti-Trump stuff that's on there in the CBC. Um, it's bizarre. It just we talk about they had the $4.5 billion pipeline the government just bought. Now we change the narrative because now they got the tariffs with the steel and the aluminum, so that takes the light off of the pipeline. And now he's going to be a big hero. I'm talking true to when I say that. Um, it's all over the board. And I mean, I don't know. And then I was reading this morning, and I will go through Ottawa looks at regulating imitation guns after police shootings. So, and this is in Canada, this here. So, what the government's going to do, the two ministers, um, they want to regulate toy guns. Basically, what they're going to do. So, the government's going to come in and take toys away from your kids because they're guns. Okay, so I mean, we're heavily regulated to the point of oblivion on real rifles, guns here in Canada, anyways. And I'm not getting into gun control. That's a whole separate argument. And that now we're talking toy guns. We're talking plastic guns, and they're going to regulate it. Well, that brings up an issue. It brings up several issues to be that wrong. Bring that up. So what does it mean? Okay, toy gun. So we got something that looks like a real gun, made out of plastic and that. So if you're stupid enough to go out and point it at the police, and I'm not blaming the police here. I mean, seriously. I mean, if you're dumb enough to go point a gun at a police, yeah, you're probably going to get shot. Gee whiz. Let's think. That's where brains come in. It's kind of like, gee whiz, if I drive my vehicle 100 miles an hour at a brick wall and I hit it, well, is that the vehicle's fault or is that your fault? I mean, I just get it. The other one is my favorite one. We're going to enact laws. Okay, well, we got laws on guns. Okay, laws. Now we have people called criminals. They're called criminals for a reason because they're not following the law. So we're going to make a law against criminals who are not following the law. So we're going to add another layer of law for criminals that aren't following the law to begin with. So then we're going to end up with because it's like the flavor of the month, oh, this is an issue. We got to have a new law. Yep, we'll put in a new law. No toy guns. Okay, great. Okay, we already got real guns regulated that the criminals aren't following. So now the toy guns. And I mean, that's the epitome of stupidity is if we've got to start, and I mean, you really think about this. How stupid do you have to be to have toy guns regulated? I mean, that's just beyond mind blowing. I have a hard time describing it. And I mean, we're talking serious. This is serious. I mean, they're standing in front of reporters. This is a serious issue. Canadians are worried about this, and I'm like, no, we're not. We're worried about the economy. We're worried about the government spending $4.5 billion on pipeline. We're worried about the carbon tax that you put in on us. That you're building a pipeline, you're charging carbon. That's what we're worried about. We're not worried about it. So what? Some idiot stands in front of the cops waving a toy gun. He gets shot. Natural selection. The stupid shall not survive. And what? And I mean, I hate to be blunt, but I mean, realistically, that's like going out with covering yourself in honey and jumping in with a bunch of bears, and then blaming the bears when they rip you to pieces. Yeah. So what's the solution? Let's shoot all the bears. Let's make a law to shoot all the bears. Yes, that would go over really well. So where does it end? And it just the narrative from the Liberal government, the federal Liberal government in Canada is just, I don't know where they're going. I mean, realistically. And it's kind of take off, like with Tommy Robinson not reporting, not a word. And our freedom of speech here in Canada is under attack in a major way. And all you have to do, if you don't believe it, is just take a look at what's going on in the news. And, and I can't speak for the rest of Canada, but I know what's happening here. You go to downtown Vancouver, I mean, it's bloody, it's ridiculous. I mean, you get into a fist fight with peace-loving people. You'll get into a fist fight with peace-loving people because they want to beat you up because you don't agree with them. Okay, you let that sink in for a minute. They want to beat you up because you don't agree with them. Yeah. This is where we're at in this point in time. I'm not making this up. This is what's happening. I wish, it almost sounds like out of a fantasy novel where, stupidity rules. Yeah, that's, and I'm sorry for using a stupidity word. I don't know how else to describe it. I mean, where else can you go? The other one with the CBC is, the anti-American rhetoric that's coming out. There's a alleged reporter called Aaron Wary for the CBC. He just did an analysis. And basically, yeah, and don't take my word for it. You can go read it. I mean, it's all public record. Heaven forbid people should actually go read things themselves. And, read what this guy writes. And I mean, the CBC, we're paying for it. And for American people or people out of Europe or wherever, whoever watches this, basically, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation is funded by the taxpayers of Canada through federal government legislation. Let's say 2015 to 2021, we, the people of Canada, the taxpayers, will be giving a news corporation $1.9 billion. That's billion with the B. Billion. Yes, taxpayer money for a news organization. And the reason I'm saying that is we'll go back to Aaron Wary, who is a reporter for more than CBC. He writes and analyst articles, analysis, whatever you want to call it. I call them bullshit. Because basically what it is he loves Trudeau. And it's so obvious. I mean, you read his stuff there, and it's like a paid political announcement from the Liberal Party of Canada. And this guy is disguised as a reporter. And it's just ridiculous. And I mean, like I said, I got banned from CBC for actually, pointing out things, stating what I call the obvious, actually using facts in an argument and saying, well, what is this guy doing? This guy's a liberal cheerleader. That's all he is. So, and he's pushing the agenda of the Liberal Party. I mean, basically, and they are the governing party in Canada right now. Yeah. Freedom of speech, freedom of the press, as long as you agree with me. You can say whatever you like. Just agree with what I'm saying. So, where does that leave us? And as I said last time, how far do we back up? Like, how often do you turn the other cheek? I mean, sooner or later, we're going to hit a wall. You can't back up any further. Preferably, I would prefer I start swinging before I hit the wall. because when I hit the wall, I've only got one option, and they're not good ones. So let's, and I don't want to make it sound violent, but I'm not calling the tune here. This is what, like Antifa and these people groups like this, it just abide by, and it's all self-serving through our Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, um, who just loves the left. I mean, and to go to Justin Trudeau, for those guys who don't know or haven't read, and most of you already know this that live here, um, was a part-time drama teacher, um, and a politician. That's it. And his dad was a former Prime Minister of Canada. That's it. That's his claim to fame. That's all he did. And he's got lots of money. That's it. And he likes having his picture taken. So that's who's running Canada right now. And he has empowered a whole lot of people that, that balances has gone totally out of whack. And like, God, I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place here, but it's frustrating. I mean, I'm frustrated, and a lot of people are frustrated. I talk to a lot of people in my area here, where I live, in Vancouver, and a lot of people are feeling the same way because they don't know what to do because they can't say anything. You're right, your MP, about this. Um, they talk about Harper a lot. Stephen Harper was a former Prime Minister of Canada. And yeah, I don't agree with everything he did. I had some major issues with him and the Conservative Party, the direction they were going. I didn't think they were insurmountable. Uh, I would write them letters. And believe me, I write RMP, who's Randeep Sarai. Wrote Stephen Harper at the time, John Baird, the Foreign Minister of Canada. Difference is under Stephen Harper and all that, those people would write me back. They would take time. It wasn't immediate. I mean, it was like maybe, a month and a half, I would get a letter back from them. So it wasn't like, gee, look at that. Mark Pope read us. We better write. No, it was like they would write back. And it was probably not the Prime Minister or the Minister himself. It was probably one of the aides. And what I liked about it is we had a running disagreement. Um, and it was actually engaging when we were talking. Um, and we agreed to disagree, essentially. But they were given a position, I was given a position, and we were talking, and it was eventually, or up to part of the 2015 election, we were kind of coming to an understanding, and that's the way government should be. These shouldn't be these people who are untouchable. That, my God, they're busy or they're on holidays. Well, in almost 3 years now, I have written, and like I said, I write monthly, and I go down to the office here, um, to the Prime Minister, to the Minister Catherine McKenna, to our MP here. I have gotten zero letters back, nothing, not even an ignore. I get the thing, we've received your letter, the electronic echo box, and that's it. Nothing. The latest one was, I was asking about the electoral reforms that are coming out. And I was asking for clarification on Division 1, 349.1. And I've yet to this day not received an answer. And this is going through Parliament. Now, Justin Trudeau will stand up in front of the Canadian people in the world and say, oh, look at the consultation we're doing with all the people and that. So we're getting a broad spectrum of what people think. We don't want to move. Okay, where's the consultation? And I'm not the only one. This is the thing. I mean, I'm not saying that, they should pay special attention to me. It's like, I'd at least like a courtesy. I'm an MP. I pay taxes, or my MP. I pay taxes. You're my employee. Where's my explanation? I asked for an explanation because I don't understand it genuinely. I mean, this isn't a political agenda. When I read it, I did not understand it because it's garbled. I'm not a lawyer. So I wanted clarification. I have yet to get clarification, and unless they come through this week, but by then it's too late. I still won't have a clue what the hell's in there. And I've asked many people, well, you know what this is? Also shrug your shoulders. No idea. Have no idea what they're talking about. So that's the consultation. Uh, we pick and choose who we consult with. That's it. You support the Liberal Party, we'll consult with you. If you don't, we don't want to hear from you. And that's it. Or you agree with us, we'll consult with you. And that's not free speech. That's not freedoms. That's not serving your constituents. That's not serving the people. That's being self-serving. So what do you do? We here in Canada, we don't have the constitutional rights that people in the United States have. I'm finding out that a lot of people don't realize that a lot of people are getting confused with the American Constitution and the Canadian Constitution. We don't have the constitutional right here. Our MP is there for 4 years. If he never talks to you, doesn't return it, shows up in Parliament once in a while, you have in 4 years the right not to vote him in. That's it, period. Done. You've got no recourse. Nothing. And and I'm not going to say the guy he's helped out kind of with some immigration stuff, and I had to go through a whole hell of a. I had to actually call some of the opposition members to tell them to get a hold of my MP to get a hold of me. That's actually the only reason that we were able to get things done. But he still did it. But the process to get there that's not the way our system is supposed to be set up. But you have no recourse. I can't sue him. I can't take him to court. I can't call the police on him. The opposition can't do anything. That's it. Your MP refuses to do anything for you. Good luck. You cannot vote for him in 4 years. That's your alternative. Yep, there you go. And right now we've got a government in here that does not like free speech, that would love to see our freedoms go away, and they do not like talking to people who disagree with them. I mean, all you have to do is just take a look at the rhetoric, and I mentioned some of this before, is you go through the town hall meetings that Junior Trudeau was having around there. And I challenge people, and I've yet, and I don't know how many people watched the video. I challenge people. Out of all the things that he was asked, I mean, real questions, not gee whiz, I like your socks, or oh, you're so nice. I mean, real questions like the veterans, the moms, the dads, the people that are working, standing up, asking them direct questions. How many of those did he answer? And what was the answer? And the answer to that one is look at what he does in question period. He doesn't answer. They go through this. Well, look what we've done for you. Boy, you lucky people. You're so lucky you voted us in. Look at how great we are. We're for the middle class. Oh, that's a hell of a statement. Coming from somebody whose dad left him over $1 million, the Trudeau Trust Fund. Bill Morneau. Well, all you got to do is read it. He's the guy that forgot that he owned a big chalet, multi-million-dollar chalet in France. Yeah, everybody does. I forgot I own stuff too. That's just like all us middle-class Canadians. We all have stuff there. But I mean, that's what we're dealing with right now. I mean, just the brazen attitude that these guys have, and unfortunately, people just eat it up because the guy looked cute. Well, my dog looks cute, but would I vote for her? No, probably not. Why? She got no experience to be in office. Kind of remind you of somebody. So, what do? We got to start getting together and have a conversation, and we got to start pushing these guys, because at some point in time, they've got to start listening to us. This goes with that. How far do we back up? Like you say, okay, I lost that right. I don't really use it. That's okay. That law, that's only a couple million. It's going to cost us. This is only a couple million. And then you back up, you back up, you back up, you back up, and then what? All of a sudden, there's a law that really affects you. Well, you've already given up so much ground that when you hit that point, it's too late. This is why paying attention is very important to what's going on. Yes, it may not directly affect you, it may not directly affect your family, indirectly. This is the thing about you've got to start understanding what the hell you're talking about and understand what's going on. You sit there and you look and you say, well, yeah, it doesn't affect me. The pipeline doesn't affect me either. Okay. But that $4.5 billion is sinking in there. Do you think Trudeau's paying for that out of his own pocket? Do you think Morneau's paying for that out of his own pocket? That comes from our money. Yeah, right. Let that sink in. Our money. That is taxpayer money. All the stuff government does is taxpayer money. That's our money. And I think people forget that a lot of times. Now, I'm not saying we go over in revolt. That'll come when everybody's up against the wall when it's too late. But start questioning, start pushing these guys. We got to start holding these guys accountable. I mean, the Liberal government is the epitome. People started talking about Harper, and believe me, I didn't support Harper. I really don't support any party. I support people who are looking after us, who's actually going to work for us. And the Liberal government is not working for us at all. Nothing. And if you look at what they're writing, and you don't believe it, just what I said earlier about the toy gun regulations. I mean, really, that is where we're at. And giving the CBC $1.9 billion for a news agency to toe their line. Yeah, I mean, how can you not have a problem with that? I just don't get it where people are at. Like getting banned for mentioning about Tommy Robinson. Well, heaven forbid I should ask, where's the reporting on that? And I don't agree with everything Tommy Robinson did or does or says. I agree with a lot of things he does. But you're going to throw a guy in jail, and then here in this country, you're just like ignored like nothing happened. And we are part of the Commonwealth, by the way, in case people have forgotten. Look in the back of your coins. Whose picture's back there? It's not one of the prime ministers of Canada, I guarantee you that. We are part of the Commonwealth. So what happens there eventually filters over here because we follow the same system of government. Now, I know it's hard if you don't follow things to tie this all together, and it's not really hard, And I'm not saying it's a conspiracy theory. I'm just saying, look, you look at where we're going. Every time you bring up a law, it affects us, the people. So, and it goes back to my other point. If people are not obeying the first law, why would you bring in a second law that people aren't going to obey? Except that second law is going to cost us a lot of money. So now what? You're going to have a second law that nobody's obeying. You see where this is going. So what I'd like to see is I had this conversation. I got to bring this up. Okay. People say, well, what would you do? I said, okay. And of course, this will never fly. It would never fly in politics because it's just too many things going on. Is a 10% flat tax. Everybody pays 10%. Flat tax, everybody. That's no exceptions. We get rid of all the write-offs that you pay. We have, employment insurance, let's call it what it is, unemployment insurance. We've got our health care and all that. All that is provincially covered. Fair enough. Carbon tax, we'll get rid of that. Basically, what it comes down to is the federal government takes care of federal things and stays out of the business of business. Because when we get federal government involved in big business, it's a fail. And I mean, yes, there are lots of side rules and little examples of what happens if this happens, what happens if this happens. Well, everybody just needs to take a step back, and this is where the conversation needs to start. Is who is responsible for who? Now, if I'm giving a lot of my money to somebody else and then I need it, what do I do? And that's exactly it. If you're giving money to the government and you need it, then what happens? You ain't got it. Somebody else has it. Then what? Then now you're relying on a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth party to take care of you or your family or your friends. You see where this is going. I'm not saying I have all the answers, but what I'm saying is we need to sit down and have an open and honest conversation about what's going on. Because if we get backed up to that proverbial wall and everybody wakes up when we hit that wall, that's too late. It is what it is. And I think we're getting pretty close to that. And people need to start waking up. 2019, we got another election coming up. Um, and we'll see what happens. Ontario's got their election coming up. Now, I'm not going to say who I support one over the other. All I know is Wynne should go. I mean, she's cost Canada, never mind Ontario, she's cost Canada a lot of money. That's an accumulative debt of Canada. Now, surprise, surprise, eh? Like I say, educate yourselves, learn. And then let's talk from a point of information and facts. We can both sit and shout at each other, this is right, this is wrong, immigration, all that stuff. It gets us nowhere other than hard feelings. And right now, the left, you better start practicing what you preach. That's a big thing. But then again, you watch what's happening with the left, and they're going to eat themselves because they can't even follow their own rules or regulations. So you know what's going to happen there. Anyways, everybody have a good day. Uh, any comments, questions, want to talk, let me know. I'm more than happy. I mean, I don't think I'm a scary guy. Um, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. If I'm right, tell me I'm right. If there's some stuff there you do agree with, disagree with, let's have a conversation. That's where it starts. If we can't sit and talk to each other, we're going nowhere fast. Anyways, y'all have a good Sunday. We'll see everybody later. Have a great week. Talk to you soon.